Hello guys, how are you doing? In today's class, we're going to continue studying and be able to remember that we are talking about ability. In the last video, I explained you how to talk about ability with can and could. Now we're going to study be able to. Now, let's start. You can use be able to talk about ability and possibility as well. And I have an example here. Some astronauts are not able to balance after a space flight. I have another one. People will be able to talk to their wheelchairs. Now, if you take a look at these examples, you will notice that one sentence is in present and the other one is in future. So we can use be able to in different tenses. Okay, let's take a look at the patterns we follow to create sentences with able to. Now, we have statements about the present, past, and future. First, we need a subject every time, right? So in this case, I have here I. Later, we're going to use, of course, the verb be. I am or I'm, and later, able to. The particle not here is in parentheses because when we want to use it in the negative way, we just add not at the beginning. I am able to use a computer. Or you can say, I am not able to use a computer. Let's continue. If we want to talk about the past, we are going to use the verb be in past. I was able to use a computer, or I was not able to use a computer last year, but I took some classes and now I am able to do so. Now we have different subjects and the procedure is the same. Remember that the tense will be dictated by the verb be in present or in past. Okay? Remember that we have all the subjects, but the rules maintain the same. Now, if we want to talk about a future, an ability in the future, we're going to use the auxiliary will, and in this case, the particle not will be added just after the particle will or won't, right? For example, I will be able to use a computer next month. I will take some computer classes. Or you can say, I will not be able to use a computer never. I never will be able to do so, right? That means that maybe you're an elder and you think you are not going to be able to do so. Now, you can use as well I won't, right? You know this. So basically, that's the way we create sentences with able to. Remember that we can use several subjects as well. In this case, we use the auxiliary will only, right? That's the main thing you need to remember. Now, how do we create yes no questions? Basically, here we move the verb be at the beginning of the sentence. For example, are you able to lift heavy objects? And the answer will be, since the question starts with the verb be, the answer of course will contain the verb be. Yes, I am. No, I am not. Okay. Or for example, in past, were you able to lift heavy objects when you were a kid? Remember, the verb be, the sentence starts with the verb be in past, so we're going to use the verb be in past in the answer, and we're going to say yes I was, or no I wasn't. Now, for yes no questions and short answers about the future, we basically are going to move the will at the beginning. For example, will you be able to lift heavy objects? Or will you be able to come next week? Now, in this case, since we are using will at the beginning to start the sentence, we're going to use will in the short answer. Yes, I will. No, I won't. Okay, easy as that, guys. Now, how do we create information questions? First, let's start with the present, past, and future. In the present and past, basically, we're going to add a WH word at the beginning of a yes/no question. For example, I have when here. When are you able to go? When are you able to go? We just have the WH word at the beginning, right? Or in past, we just change the verb be. When were you able to go? This is in past. Remember that we can use different WH words such as how or how often. How often are you able to go? Or how often were you able to go? Now, we have other kinds of WH words such as who. Who is able to go? Remember that when we use who, we're looking for the subject. That's why we do not have the subject in the pattern. Or in past, who was able to go. Now we have the future. Basically, it is the same. We add a WH word at the beginning of a yes/no question, and we are going to continue the same pattern. When will you be able to go? We can use several different WH words as well, such as how or how often. And of course, we can look for the subject as well by using the WH word who. Who will be able to go? Okay, now let's take a look at the uses of be able to. So basically, you can use be able to talk and write about ability in the present, past, or future, as we already studied. Sometimes astronauts are not able to balance after a space flight. Now, can you guess if this sentence is in present, past, or future? Yes, it is in present, since the verb be is in present. Okay. Let me highlight that for you. The verb be is in present. Now, in the past, artificial arms were unable to lift heavy objects. Are we talking about the present, past, or future again? We're talking about the past, right? Since the verb be is in past, weren't. And in the future, people will be able to tell other wheelchairs where to go. Since we are using the auxiliary will, we know for fact that we are talking about the future. Easy as that, guys. Now, you can just be able to talk and write about possibility. For example, people will be able to talk to their wheelchairs in the future. So this is a possibility, right? Now, in affirmative statements, you can use was, were, able to for a specific event or a specific action that someone completed successfully in the past. Do not use could. Okay, so let's see an example here. Lieberman was able to design a special shoe a few years ago. Now, this is an achievement. It was completed. It is a specific action that was completed in the past. That's why we are using was able to. We are not able to use could here because the action is completed and it is not like a supposition, right? And finally, both forms are correcting negative statements. For example, in the past, they weren't able to lift heavy objects, or in the past, they couldn't lift heavy objects. For negative statements, it's okay to use whether able to or couldn't. However, the difference here is that the previous ones are affirmative statements. All right. So basically, that's it, guys. That's the way we use be able to. I hope you understood. If you have any other question, you know that you can reach out. Have a good one, guys. See you in class.